Hello and welcome to my video. I'm going to be going over Chapter 5 of my BRE-100 class. I used the California Real Estate Principles book, edition 16, to get the information from Chapter 5. And a little overview about what I'll be talking about is the differences between advisory and disclosures, the DIA, the TDS, and the SBQ, and how those three kind of link up together, and how the misuse of the TDS can lead to a very expensive lawsuit within a 2-year time span, and a few questions that the SBQ does ask. And one out of 42 disclosures, the one that stood out the most to me is the natural disaster disclosure, and I'll be going over that one briefly as well. So let's get started. The advisory, the difference between advisory and disclosure is that advisories are actually not required by California state law to be disclosed. And there are 10 advisories in Chapter 5 on page 131. And the next one is going to be the DIA, and that's going to be the Disclosure Information Advisory form. That is a form that's used to make sure that you cover all the steps and don't miss anything. And it tells you to fill out every single question on every single disclosure. And if you don't know, say that you're not aware, or no, or get professional help. And the TDS, which is the transfer disclosure statement, and that's going to be going over everything that's right or wrong with the property, and you must disclose everything that is wrong with the property. And if you don't, that can lead to a very expensive lawsuit within the 2-year time span from the buyer if the buyer does find something that you didn't disclose. A few disclosures in the TDS is like flooding problems, zoning issues, and if you had an add-on to the property that wasn't approved by the state or the county, or you didn't get a permit for it, or if there's an encroachment or an easement on the property, which we did go over that previously in the book. And then we have the SBQ, which does ask questions that is not covered by the TDS. 2 questions that I can think of right now is if someone died within 3 years on the property, that is a question that is required to be disclosed. And then if the house was built prior to 1994, and if the plumbing or if there's any non-compliant plumbing in that house. So like if a toilet flushes more than 2.5 gallons per flush, or if a fixture or a faucet has more than 1 gallon per minute of water flow. So those are kind of some SBQ questions that are required to be disclosed, and it could also lead up to some legal recommendations if you don't disclose them. So the next thing I think would be covering is one of my most important disclosures to me personally is the natural hazard disclosure. There are 42, and they all are important because they all must be disclosed and answered. But the natural hazard one stands out most to me because if you move your family into a home and you're not aware that it's in a wildland fire area or a flood zone, or there's a lot of earthquakes, or it's on a fault line, that can definitely change your mind if you want to move to that location or not. And speaking from experience as a wildland firefighter, wildfires are absolutely no joke. And if you don't know your house is in a wildland fire area zone, you can be definitely taken by surprise. So those are some of the things on why I think the natural hazard disclosure is the most important. And to kind of wrap up the chapter itself, the most important key parts is definitely the DIA, the TDS, and the SBQ. And the reason being is because disclosing everything about the property is only fair for the buyer, and it's safe for the seller, and it ensures that the agent and the client is protected from any lawsuits or anything that could happen for repercussions. I think that's it. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope we've all learned something together for Chapter 5, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the future. Thank you.